We see a lot of things online, we compare to a lot of people, and as creatives and other people in general, we want a magical answer to something, and it just does not exist.
The truth about finding success, I in a business, in a project, there's many different elements, but the one big key is consistency and dedication, Michael. I feel like everyone wants overnight success.
Yeah.
And I was reminded during the week once again that
How do you stay consistent? Do you have any tips for us? Hello and welcome to episode 8 of TDC TV. This is a YouTube show, and now on Spotify actually, designed to help you dominate content creation while we do so. Also, Darren, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, and that is a good addition, actually. We added all this to Spotify. Go check it out there because
We're live.
just a different, people consume content in different ways. And one of those big ways is podcasts. So Spotify, check it out. Big plug there. All 7 episodes, or maybe all 6. 7th about to be released up there as well.
Yeah, I think
And
it's
how
actually...
are you? Sorry, how are you?
No, I'm great. I think it's actually episode 7 will be live shortly because the edits have been turned around and we are ready to roll.
Nice one. We should say by the time this is out, it's up. 7.
Yes, definitely. And I guess worthwhile touching on. So Darren thought putting it on Spotify because obviously you know that this is designed to be a YouTube show, but why limit the audience? Why limit the amount of people that this reaches? Because the reality is a lot of you are in your car or used to listening to podcasts in audio format only. So we're catering for all types.
No, it's a great. It's a little good discussion to open up the show, even though you completely ignored me when I asked how you
Sorry,
were.
no, I said I'm great, and then I went on to the topic. But
Okay,
do you want me to elaborate on why I'm great?
no, just say how you're great.
Just good vibes, good. I was gonna say good weather. Anyway, carry on.
Anyway, no, the podcast thing, I think it's a great sort of little discussion because everyone consumes content differently and everyone is also time poor. I know you are very time poor. He's actually not. I don't know why I threw that
It's a good skill.
little drive-by there. But I just think we're all in our cars a lot, mostly. Actually, you might not be. Anyway,
Get on with it.
What's my point here? No, everyone consumes content differently. I think it's very easy and more enjoyable sometimes to just chuck your AirPods in, do some house cleaning. You don't have to always stare at a screen. So now you can just listen to us in your eardrums.
You're right. Quick teaser for this episode. So 2 main topics that we're covering today. I'm going to cover the mindset of creatives. That's because not too many spoilers yet, but I was on a call this week as a guest. Pretty
Yes.
cool.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Guest to talk about 2 times creative and my
That is
journey.
exciting, yes.
And through that, I took some learnings and takeaways about the mindset of creative people like you and I'm going to talk about the good and bad things that sort of help us and hinder us.
You're a big dog now. I love it.
What are you talking about?
Well, I've kind of got 2 separate little things, but I'm going to go... We touched on this one a lot, but I was reminded of it during the week that buying gear and like upgrading in different ways definitely does bring you confidence.
It does a lot.
It 100% does. And the other one I wanted to touch on is longevity. The truth about finding success in sort of like your business, your brand, a project. There's one big secret.
One big secret?
It's not a secret. It's one big point that I think is very important.
That sounds like a topic full of serious value, Darren.
Yes, it is.
Free value here, and I'm looking forward to that. I hope I can sustain longevity after listening to it.
I don't know how to answer that, but yeah, no, yours will be valuable as well. So let's get some guest questions, not guest questions because they're not here. I'll call it fan questions because they're big fans of us. And why wouldn't she be? Steph opens up techniques to capture candid moments without making people feel awkward. And I think this is a very good question actually, because it reminds me. I think I've touched on this before. I probably have, but I'm going to touch on it again. It reminds me of a straightaway example, wedding content, because we're in wedding theme last week. But actually, I'm pretty sure I talked about this last week's episode, but I don't care. In terms of candidness, the red wine example, making the couple drink red wine because it will make a good photo.
Yeah,
that is not candid because both of them said to the photographer, "We did not drink."
Yeah, but no, Steph, it's a good example for the 3rd or 4th time, Darren. But techniques to capture candid moment, I think. I do a couple of things. I think taking the piss out of yourself, or like lightening up the vibe of the shoot, or just sort of not making it totally serious. That even though you are filming people, I assume in this example it's of what we're used to. So like you're not telling them to do something; they're already doing something, and you're filming. Let's use that as an example. They're already doing something, and you're filming it. I'll usually lighten up the situation and take the piss out of things. Or secondary, the second thing that I like to do is make it obvious I'm filming. So I think there's this sort of an awkwardness of there's a person with a camera, but is he filming? So I'll make it super obvious. I'll either have like obviously press record and sort of look at it, and then I'll just sort of talk to them and try to make it obvious, or I'll literally just be like, ignore this camera, ignore this camera in your face. I'm just keep doing what you're doing.
I think the lighthearted thing is definitely a great angle, because I feel like I do the same. That's what I resort back to. If you can feel the vibe is a bit awkward in there, making fun of yourself or making fun of them, or like not full on going at them because you probably don't have that relationship with them, but just like even poking fun at the situation, like I'm live, this is it, come on, give me something. Like I don't know, like
that's a good point.
Because otherwise, if you don't talk about the elephant in the room in terms of the camera is on and you are there to get content or whatever, it might come across as awkward. So I think it's a great point of just like acknowledging that's what you're doing and just joking about it. Like, this is it, we're on.
Yeah, you do you. I'm gonna keep filming this.
Even though that doesn't, like, candid doesn't exactly mean that, but I think that's a better way of getting real.
I think it does, because if you address it at the very start, then that's the ongoing theme for the rest of the shoot or the rest of the day. So they know you're there to do a job, but you're also just going to capture what's already happening. So if you address it earlier on, then you're not going to have to deal with the awkwardness after. So I think it doesn't totally remove the candidness. Yeah,
no, that's fair. I think behind the scenes footage is just, that's what candidness is sometimes. Like, you are not the main show sometimes, even though you might only be a one camera job and you might only want candid stuff, but it's actually a tricky challenge. So good question.
It's a good question. And one other thing I just thought of while you were speaking, Darren, is you could literally address it before you pull out your camera. So just be like, just to be clear, what we're doing today, I'm totally feel free to pick me up on telling me not to record things, but I'm going to be filming majority of what we're doing. You happy with that? Cool. Whatever.
Yeah. Go about your business.
Yeah. Second one, a common mistake you see beginner videographers make.
What comes to your mind first, Michael?
I think just taking the time to not understand the settings. So just relying on the fortune of having cameras that do everything on auto these days. So
that's a good point.
I've said this before. I had the presentation at the South Metro Junior Football League. It was on photography for beginners, but it relates to this. Set everything on your camera to manual and figure it out.
Just see how you go.
Have fun with shitty looking footage with manual settings. Like, I'm being serious. Make it all on manual. It's going to look bad because you're not going to understand it. And then take the time to understand it, because that's the best time. I mean, the best way to master the craft, in my opinion.
I actually like that. Like, you almost expect to, well, you expect to be shit mindset that we touched on last week or whatever it was, but you almost expect to look back at your footage and be like, I know that's not 100% accurate, but I actually understand my camera, my tool.
Exactly. More. And because everything does work on auto, doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be the best for you.
And it's also like, it doesn't mean you can't use auto eventually.
You can still,
Like, you might actually go back, you might revert all your settings back to auto, but it doesn't mean, like, what you're saying is basically when you first get your camera, when you're first trialing, maybe just set it to manual just to understand it.
Yeah. Perfect example. If I'm going sort of, so on a typical shoot, I'll have everything to manual. Apart from autofocus, I'll use autofocus. But if we're going from inside to outside to different lighting situations, I'll often still use automatic white balance if we're not just in one room.
Setting.
Yeah. So it doesn't mean just because I can do manual white balance and set it how you should from a typical filmmaking background or whatever, you can still use auto white balance as you move room to room.
No, we had the white balance discussion yesterday.
We did.
Michael's been, so even us too. Like, sometimes Michael's knowledge of things are much better than mine, and he kind of questions. He's like, hey, no, he's kind of just like, hey, have you actually tried, have you experimented with these settings? And I'm like, sometimes I'm like, yes. Sometimes I'm like, haven't touched it. And haven't even seen it.
Yeah, and that's because I know we're from the same background of not studying in this. So I know that these are things that I picked myself up on at Carlton, and even now to this day, where it's just like, hang on, have I even bothered to properly figure out if I understand white balance? So, yeah, I think it all relates.
It's a great point. Off the back of that,
do you have any? That was mine.
No, that's a good one. Off the back of that, I wouldn't say it's. I guess it could be a mistake, but it's just like, I feel like it's easy to overthink something that you're doing new. And we all do it. We're all like daunted by it. I remember the first time I picked up a camera and I was just like, this is daunting. But then you pick it up. But I feel like just overthinking it can be a mistake. Just sort of pick it up and do it. Press the record button. You can try with some manual settings, but literally just press the record button and try.
So see what it's all about. The mistake is almost like the pressure on yourself to be good at it straight away.
Yeah, I feel like the mistake is just like overthinking it too much.
Yeah.
Just sort of pick it up and press record because you will figure stuff out on the fly and you will start thinking about different elements of it as you go.
I mean,
Also,
we said it last week. If it relates to the best time to start has already passed. If you've thought about it, it was a lot smoother last week when I said it.
No, that's
dropped the mic.
That's fine. I wanted to just let's interrupt this. Oh, that's true. I remember that. That was awkward. No, I'm going to interrupt this fan segment. This fan question.
This feels like a sponsor read. Do we have a sponsor?
Spotify is our sponsor because it made me think of Spotify when I was listening to audio only. You know what? Something I identified. What would I? Okay, fair enough. Do you reckon people can tell the difference between our voices? Because like when we're bouncing off each other, I was just like, and I know we're different. We know who we're speaking, but I'm like, this is quite interesting.
90% of them wouldn't unless you've listened to us for a while and every episode.
I think,
and if you've gotten to the point of that you cannot tell the difference, then you are a true fan. Maybe that's like the tier of true 2 times creative fan.
I reckon one of us might need to alter our voices just to make the conversation easier. So
we'll talk about that offline. How we do it.
I just found it something interesting.
What are you thinking? Like high pitch, low pitch accent?
Accent.
Probably not appropriate in 2024.
Just to make the conversation flow easier. Anyway, back to regular scheduling. We've got a few more. What's a favorite brand or organization you have worked with, Michael? I think
one favorite.
Just just plug sort of someone that you've had good experiences with. Maybe it's the people. Maybe it's the vibe of the brand itself. Maybe you're like, damn, this is a brand I've always liked.
I worked indirectly with Nike through the female athlete project, Chloe Dalton, and we did. She did a podcast episode with the one and only Sam Kerr, which I was very fortunate to meet. And I think I didn't want to go straight to a big brand because often, just because they've got, I guess, more money there, they've got like a fancier office, and it's those things that don't actually matter, but
materialistic.
Yeah, but sometimes it's bloody cool. So just we went to Nike headquarters to actually have a look around, and we were fortunate enough to go to an event after that, hosted by Nike, which is all soccer themed, indoor soccer field. And that was just unreal being around, I guess, like the top of the top in terms of high performance brands. We'll bounce back and forth. Have you got one?
Yes, no, I was going to do the accent just to make it easy. Yes, Michael. No, I was going to shout out PTPA because that is I always get this wrong. People's PTPA,
Professional Tennis Players Association.
Yeah, especially the
good shout actually.
Yeah, so I'm obviously from the world of basketball, but I really like going into the tennis world, and I think a big part of working with them, because we did it a few times, and we actually did it like. We did our first stint with them, and then a year we did the exact sort of like the exact same event around the same time. And I think the people really made a difference. Like the fact that we kind of felt like you're on a bit of a journey with them, and you could reignite your relationship with them a year after, even though it wasn't all the same people. But it's really cool when you feel like you're part of the team, even if it's like one shoot or two shoots. So PTPA, seeing how they operate, comparing it to basketball, really cool.
I doubled down. I really like that shout because they were also at the start of trying to, I guess, grow their. I don't know how early on they were, but it was definitely the first event they did in Australia when we first worked with them. So they were at the beginning of trying to grow what they're doing.
Also, very important to us because what's her name? No, I've lost her name.
Kayla? No.
Kayla. No, I think Kayla. Kayla was so 2 times creative, and us sort of working together in a professional sort of way was not really a thing. We were just like, no, we will because we do it together. But on the end of the first shoot, I'm pretty sure Kayla was just like, you guys should start something together, like an official business. And we're like, oh, yeah, maybe one day.
Because we're twins. And she's just like, nobody else has this. You need a brand and create a business because you look the same and you do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, twin stuff. But
twin thing. But it was actually a great point. So shout out to Kayla.
No, PTP, yeah. I think, there's we've gone through, like, we're both so fortunate with the amount of people we've worked directly and indirectly with. Like, you reel off, like, Dirk Nowitzki, Sam Kerr, Josh Giddey, Shaq.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many people, a lot of them indirectly, but PTPA gets a cake for me because just the people again, they were great.
It makes a massive difference. And following on from that last one, what's a brand you'd like to work with? That's a hard one, but thoughts, concerns, queries?
See, my mind does still go to, because obviously been fortunate enough to work with a lot of sporting clubs. My mind goes to like the Reeboks. I've worked indirectly with Reebok, but like those types of brands, the high performance, where it might give me more exposure, not just to covering live sport, but it's like different types of shoots where it might be like a setup scene, It might be something different. So there's high performance brands, Reebok, give me like Adidas, like Nike, that type. It's always
all those
just
sporting
intriguing
ones.
and yeah.
They are. Well, I think it'd be the intriguing part is how they operate, what their facilities are, what the people
Puma,
are like.
something like Puma or like those, or Converse is cool now. New Balance. Yeah, now we're going.
Yeah, we
Now
get
we're
it. We get it.
talking.
It's the sport brands.
I'll answer the question.
Very
What's yours?
original.
What's yours?
No, mine's not original at all, actually. But I was just thinking, obviously,
MBL.
No, I was obviously I'm used to NBL, but us going to America together to shoot NBA would be, would be pretty cool.
Oh, but yeah, not bad.
Well, it's pretty obvious, like because we both love basketball. But
sure.
But we've never. I'm trying to think. Has there been any indirect association with NBA? I mean, like NBA players, like Josh Giddey and like your Chris Anstey stuff. Like I know he's well off the NBA. Like it was a while since he played in the NBA. But no, nothing wrong with old age players. But indirectly, kind of. But directly would be cool.
I did an interview with Beck Allen for NBA Australia last week. There's one.
Oh, sorry. You have NBA Australia.
But you're talking
ties.
NBA.
Yeah, you're right.
You're just talking flat out NBA.
Yeah, something in the States. Doing like shooting games.
I mean, no, I haven't done it. No. But yes, that would be unreal if we one day did that, or even like a college team, just a random like connection with a college team where it's just like, you two twins from Melbourne, Australia, Australia, you come here and cover Kentucky for a week.
Yeah,
I don't know why we found you, but
don't know
something like that.
Don't know why they wouldn't go to a local market and save some money,
Melbourne.
But there might be some ties there.
Hey, great questions. They were some good. Thought-provoking questions, I think.
That's why we like them, don't we?
That's why we love them. Hey, let's go to your week first. Just, he's not prepared.
All the way down.
He's not prepared.
No, I love this, Michael. And you know what excites me? No, you know what excited me during the week?
Is it your topic you're about to...
Ooh, that's a lead in, yeah.
Yeah, no, sorry, what excited you?
Well, how do I word this? The functionality of the FX6. So that brought me a lot of confidence walking around John Cain Arena in Melbourne. I had not shot a game for a while, so I brought that FX6 down because it was the first kind of time I used it for a regular season game, and that thing gave me confidence, which is why I just like the functionality. Like I know these things sound funny, but literally the handle on it, the formation that your hand goes in,
the detail,
the look on the bigger screen. I need to probably upgrade a screen to get even a bigger one.
You want a monitor?
FX6? I reckon pop, but even the monitor that comes with it. Just looking at your footage through those eyes, through the lens, it gives you confidence, and it goes back to that old thing of like, hey, you don't need this top tier gear, you don't need this, you don't. But if you do, it actually makes you feel a lot better in the process of, and also editing.
I'd love to know if this is just me and you that find this type of stuff, the equipment, imposter syndrome almost, without that equipment. I'd love. It's almost like if you don't have that, you almost are more likely to second guess your skills or abilities. But having equipment for us, for whatever reason, seems to give us more confidence. So I would love to know if viewers or listeners, if you're the same and you can relate. But back to your thing.
Yes.
You were looking at some of your footage and you were quite happy with it of the next stars. Is there anything different from literally looking at your footage standpoint, or even the way you track things on the FX6? Like, for example, how maybe you notice the autofocus is far better. Was there anything from that type of thing that
I don't like? I think like autofocus. Like, I just want to really get to the specifics of what you just asked, but not sure about the autofocus, whether it's better. I assume it would be a bit better, like in terms of video mode compared to the A7
the internals of the camera shoot.
But the big one was just the image quality, like looking at it, how it comes through, and like how it comes through on the back end, like actually editing it. You're like, I feel good about this footage, and then it motivates you to continue using it and continue going to the game this weekend, which I will be, kind of thing. Yeah. So it's just like that type of thing that makes you enjoy. It's the enjoyment factor. Yeah. It's not just the confidence building. It's actually the enjoyment of your craft. So
it's something that with us creatives that sparks us. If we buy a new piece of equipment, the next 2 to 3 months are like, I'm motivated. Yeah, I don't know if it's materialistic of us, but
it's just like there's no doubt there's a novelty approach to begin with, but I think it's something. And then it's probably what this camera, your FX, what's this FX30?
Sure.
Same. Oh, what's a 30?
No, 30's no. 30's this model, but like the slight model down.
Oh, okay. So you upgraded. There you go. From that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I didn't have it, but yeah.
My point was then you get used to it, and then you're like me and myself, I'm like, I don't think I'm ever going to shoot on A7 in terms of video again, if I can help it. I
Mm.
probably would if it's a podcast or something, and you just got 2 tripods and 2 angles, and you don't need it to be like a documentary type
No,
feel.
you just need a second camera. Yeah.
Yeah, but FX6 is definitely going to be my go-to. Like in terms of, I'm just going to be like, why wouldn't we use that every single time? Because it feels so much better. And this is a great plug for our LUTs because we have released.
We missed that off the top.
Yeah, we should chuck it in. But little plug for our LUTs because I know you have worked tirelessly, countless hours. No, Michael's done a great job on the LUTs.
Let's launch. This is the first time I'm speaking about it. So what are you talking about, Darren?
Well, Michael, you mainly, but yeah, it's mainly you.
Well, you've helped look at them and test them a bit.
I've definitely been the trialer, but you've released 10 cinematic sport lunch. 10?
Sport LUTs. I think you said Sport Lunch.
Oh, I'm hungry.
Yeah. So during this year, it was a sort of a goal because what I color graded my S-Log3 footage with is a series of LUTs that I've created from probably as long as 2 years ago. Like you start to develop your own looks and whatever, and then eventually we did it with Lightroom presets when we first launched 2x Creative. But I wanted to create our own 2x Creative cinematic sport LUTs for log footage. So we did that. We launched it last week. We gave it to our newsletter list first because they are beloved
family community.
They're the ones that have subscribed and they got 10% off. So we don't just say we give it to there are benefits to being on that email list, but
There are.
they
Proven.
were swimming with I don't know. Anyway, so we we launched that. It's
With what?
I'll tell you what, Darren. I didn't know whether to call it cinematic LUTs. We've called it sport LUTs, but they're in an ideal world and they are designed for indoor, outdoor, all scenarios, pieces of the camera. And if you do buy them, give us transparent feedback.
Yes.
Because it's only version 1. I mean, in the future, they're going to grow and grow and grow, but they're at a place that I'm confident that they're going to help your footage look clean, cinematic, consistent.
Feedback is very important, whether it's bad or good. Because, like, we want the product to be great for everyone. And we want, like, obviously, we want to use it ourselves and be like, hey, this works really well. But say, for example, you shoot ice hockey rather than basketball. You shoot weddings rather than basketball that we mainly do. I mean, you do a lot more versatile stuff than just basketball, but we want it to be appropriate. So be like, hey, this is whatever. This is too bright. The greens are just something. Like the feedback is always helpful, and this leads nicely into me looking at my footage from those games. I tried a few of the TTC LUTs, and number 1, that was my favorite. I chucked that on, and again, it makes you feel very.
You're such a basic person, aren't you?
Well,
So TTC LUT 1 is your basic grade for everything. So that's probably the least. Well, actually, no. It's
The
a good
safest
call.
one.
Yeah, the safest one. But that's what I wanted. So LUT 1, just dump it on your footage, and it should be this.
but that's
Simplistic look.
to be transparent. It was an edit for work, and I just wanted it to be pretty basic.
Which
Like
that's good.
So, and again, that like this comes back to everyone's purpose is going to be different. You might like some of the LUTs get a bit more like color graded kind of thing. So you do eventually go down the list and you do get some different looks. And again, that's why it's cool because you can experiment and really find your preferred one and then then change those settings yourself.
Yeah, great point because I actually had a cool moment during the week at the WNBL Content Day.
This is my week. Your week is next.
Sorry, but anyway, it's just we're relating to your point of conversation. Someone came up to me. They're like, "I just got your I've never met this person." He introduced himself. He's like, "I just got your LUTs yesterday. I love them." And then I'm like, "I literally launched them yesterday." And anyway, I was talking to him, so that was a really cool moment. But I was talking to him, and
Can you like?
I think it was Dan from Basketball Australia. That's gonna sound bad if it wasn't, but
Hey Dan.
we were talking about it, and then I sort of said like the main point with these, to your point, is that I want people to know that it's a starting point for your footage. It's not meant to be. It is a one-click LUT, but because everyone's shooting style is different, every setting, every environment is different. Adjust them to yourself, and you can even edit our LUTs and save them out as your own versions of them.
Yeah, because you're always going to be shooting in a like similar setting to what you're going to be. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I hijacked your topic.
No, that's fine. It just comes back to the whole confidence thing. Like I chuck those LUTs on the back end as well, and then again, it makes me want to edit more. It makes me want to shoot more.
Love it.
So the confidence gear gives you. It's just a a great thing, Michael.
One more question before you go on to your second point. I didn't ask you about this, but you told me that when you're shooting the NBL game, you're going to use your FX6 and also have your other camera for photography. Did you do that, and how was it?
No, it was great. That was another element of feeling confident because...
So 2 cameras, one for video, one for photo. Why did you choose to do that?
Well...
Because FX6 can't take stills.
Well, Michael, because the FX6 is limited to video only.
It's a good choice.
Over to you. No, the FX6, but I really liked the element of, I know what this camera on my left shoulder is going to be, I know what the camera on my right shoulder is going to be, and you don't adjust settings. So when I used to roll around NBL games and other sporting events or whatever it is, you roll around with the A7 because it does video and, well, so does the A9, but S-Log happens on A7, but whatever. I roll around, you have to change settings, you have to really be in the moment of like, hey, what do I want this to be? But if you have 2 cameras, you can just quickly swap over. And you can almost like leave both on at the same time and pick them up. I don't know. I really like that element of having one camera for photo, one for video.
Different way of shooting. And you didn't actually carry the FX6 on your shoulder though, right?
Oh, no, sorry. That was just sort of like a great way of explaining it.
So you just put the FX6... I'm just going into detail now. So you just put it on the ground when you were at a spot to take stills.
Pretty much. Yeah, whether it was baseline, just chuck it there, or whether I was standing on a stand, just chuck it at your feet. Yeah. Nice. But great makeup. The handle is very useful. And
I don't remember the handle on this, but you are talking it up.
Well, it's because I'm so used to the A7 where it's just like limited and it's just like a small body, and then you pick up an FX6 and you're like, I get it.
That's what I love with the FX3 of having the top handle. So I'll always use... It's not on now, but you put the top handle on with the same reason, so you can carry it and obviously more touch points, but also you've got more... like, what's it called? Shoehorns or clips for accessories.
No, these things matter, and it all goes back into confidence. Confidence. Next point, quickly. The truth about finding success. I in a business, in a project, there's many different elements, but the one big key is consistency and dedication, Michael.
How do you be consistent and dedicated?
How do you do?
Is this relating to all things? So running a business, your own content? What are we talking?
Yeah, sorry, I should have provided some more context, but
that's why.
Whether you're starting a new business, like 2 Times Creative, whether you're starting a new project, it could be a podcast, whether it's a show, whether it's anything. I feel like everyone wants overnight success.
Yeah.
And I was reminded during the week once again that you're not going to get it. Pretty much. You're not going to get overnight success, and you literally have to expect years and years and years before you might find that success. And my favorite example, well, it's written on the sheet, so I was going to ask if you remember it. But my favorite example is Amazon. And my lovely wife, Jess, reminded me, I think she brought this to my attention, that Amazon took 9 whole years before they started becoming profitable.
Yeah. There'd be so many examples of that as well.
But now they're just like some big empire where you're like, whoever thought of Amazon, they'd be getting a packet.
So for people listening to this or watching it, Darren's just brought this great point that it's not going to happen overnight.
It's true.
But if they've just started posting on social, they've just started a new business, how do you stay consistent? Do you have any tips for us?
I think it's a great point. And I always say to people, if they're thinking about starting a new project or something, it's like, hey, great that you're motivated on day dot and week 1, week 2. But
it's easy to be motivated.
In 5 months, and you're like 5 months isn't that long in a grand scheme of 9 years for Amazon. But in 5 months, are you going to be equally as motivated to jump on that mic or jump on the website and type out an article? Like, are you going to be that? And reality is you're probably not going to be as motivated. But if you still think you're passionate enough about that business, what you can provide, or that topic, if you can sort of say yes to that answer, I think that's a massive part of it. And of course, you're going to get burnt out and not as motivated some days. But if you can just stay consistent and stay showing up, I think that's massive.
And I think to do that, for me at least, or speaking to both of us, you're probably similar, is you need a purpose and a long-term goal of that brand or what you're actually doing with it. So to stay motivated, you obviously need that bigger picture goal. And for me, I actually like to set that big goal as almost borderline unrealistic. Like, you set it so big that you've always got that massive thing up above you that you'd just be like, today I don't feel like doing it. It's becoming a grind. I'm not getting much engagement on socials. Like, whatever it is that sort of beats you up internally, you're just like, but this is the goal. Like, I've got to stick to this. And literally 1, 2, 3 years, you've got to stick to it if you actually want to do it. And that is the big goal. So the goals are important. And just a few other things I'd like to add is I think you've got to trial and error a lot in terms of what working. Don't be stubborn on one thing that's going to be the way to do something. Like, adapt, try different things, because that's the only way you're going to figure out what's what's going to work best for you.
And I think another massive part of this is being dedicated to this craft and being dedicated to your business and stuff does not mean working your absolute ass off every single time. Like, do not think you have to burn yourself out and you have to work these, like you get up at, or you start work at 8 and finish at 8 every day. Like, I don't think you should go in with that mindset, because credit to you, Michael, you said the other day, I just messaged you and asked how your day was or whatever. And you're like, I'm taking a me day. I'm taking some time off.
I'm on the couch watching NBA, Darren.
Yeah, but I was literally like, good on you, because as a business owner and you are your own boss type of thing, I imagine, I can't speak from experience that much, but I imagine you probably feel like you should always be on. You're like, well, if I take the next hour off, that's another hour I'm not putting into the business, and that might mean less money.
It's actually it actually hinders, excuse the dog barking if you can hear that, people. It actually hinders your business. I like to always go back to healthy you, healthy business. Yeah. So if you're working nonstop on your business to the point that you're suffering, you're not eating dinner at a normal time, you're not taking breaks, is your business actually going to benefit from that? In hindsight, or when you first think about it, you might think it's going to help, yes, but no, in reality, I can confidently say it's not going to help. So look after you. If you're healthy, you're motivated, you're happy, you're energized, you're sleeping well, then your business is sleeping well. It's energized, it's healthy.
Great analogy. I think it's actually super important. And I really love the mindset of don't work hard because it's working hard type of thing.
Yeah.
I really like the mindset of like, if you feel tired or if you feel frustrated, then whatever work you're doing in that direct moment, that's going to be shit.
It's going to suffer.
Yeah. So just like literally take the next day off, take an hour off, and I will say I can guarantee you, I'm not 100% guarantee, but I can guarantee you by the time you get back to work, your work will be much better. You will actually do much more efficient things than just being like grinding in the middle of the night or whatever it is.
You know, it reminds me of like I think Threads is bad for this, but every social media platform of the 5 a.m. wake ups, 10,000 push-ups, 3 smoothies, go to the gym. Like, this is how you find success. You have to get up at 5 a.m. Like, there's a great word for it. I can't think of it. It's like,
it's like unrealistic expectations.
It's unrealistic, and it's negative to like the average person, or particularly people that are starting something new. So don't listen to that stuff. There's a lot of there's actually a few people I follow online that are great at being really transparent with that stuff, saying this is all bullshit, don't listen to it. So,
but again, you don't have to listen to that either.
Yeah, like,
it's a funny balance, because no matter who you listen to or look at, you're like, could be true for me, could not be, but it makes it tricky. But you have to stick with it. That's my overlying point. And I can't wait to talk about your week.
Well,
unless you had anything to ask me about it.
No, I think that's a great wrap up of how to sustain longevity when you're starting new. And I think if you do have any questions about it, let us know, because I think these are the type of things that, particularly if it is a passion project or something you're just starting, very enjoyable for both Darren and I to talk about it and hopefully help you. So if you have any questions, let us know. A good recap, Darren.
Thank you. One last point with that stuff. I think what you were saying about trialing new things is great for the business and great for maintaining that longevity. Like, if you're finding yourself like just going through a routine, throw a spanner in the works. Like, literally trial a new product. Trial something that's like, even if you not know it's not a great idea, but do something for the sake of testing it. Like, just to have fun with it, or putting out a fun new content that's like challenging yourself that you wouldn't normally do. I think they're great ways to sustain that longevity. Yeah.
I tested something this morning with 2 Times Creative.
Did it? What was
scheduling for 8 a.m. Massive, right? Anyway, so usually for LinkedIn posts, I'll always post about 4, 5, 6 p.m.
Jeez, I thought you were
just tried one for 8 a.m. Revolutionary, right?
Sorry, I had to catch you. I thought you were going to say usually for LinkedIn posts I do 4, 5, 6 a day.
Oh, I wish, no. But I am taking the piss of that, but that is a very small example of trialing something. If your whole purpose is to grow engagement, for high engagement and to grow your social media following and exposure to what you're doing for your brand or business, trial very basic things like testing a post at 8 a.m. in the morning. It sounds small because it is. It's not important at all. Trust me, it does not matter at all. But if that's one thing that you can get a little bit of positivity back from, maybe a few more people got around it, a few more followers, you're like, oh, that works. Just trial something.
Or you might feel fresher that like tick box is done earlier kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, sorry, scheduling. What's your preferred method, or do you ever schedule posts on Instagram?
No, not until this morning.
Moving on. Because I've
But
always
you just do it directly through the app if that's what you're asking.
so you have to do it on your phone.
Yes.
Kind
To
of
mine.
like-
Oh,
kinda-
sorry. No, you can do it through like Meta through the.
Oh yeah. Because I don't need to schedule that much stuff or whatever. But I've kind of thought to myself sometimes like you're in the zone and whatever. Maybe you have a piece of content. I did this the other night, like just posting something on my platform. But it was like. By the time I was finished doing whatever I was doing, I was out for dinner. And it was like 10 p.m. and I'm like, I don't really want to think about this tomorrow. But I suppose you can just schedule it on the app. I should have done that anyway.
Just schedule it. And I think I've heard people say that scheduling hinders performance.
Or maybe you're just doing it for the enjoyment.
But no, I was going to say that's probably a good example of just testing something.
Yeah, don't listen. Michael, your
Yes.
week. I felt we needed an ad there. Do you want to plug something? Just a little.
Just prep for the
intermission?
future when we'll have one.
Or yeah, just like a product.
Yeah, shout out to Artless. So Artless provides the best. That's a common.
That's true, actually.
We love Artless, so if anyone comes across this, we'll gladly say yes. Anyway, so my week. So I was the guest on a Zoom call with the wonderful sports grad. So it's basically I was wondering where to go with it. Anyway, it was a Q&A session with yours truly. So
I was
people,
gonna say, give us the main theme of why you were there.
yeah. So sports grad helps people get jobs in sport. They also help people that already have jobs in sport go on to the next phase of their career. So part of what they do, and they do a lot of wonderful things, is bring in people that are already in the industry or have, from my example, been in the industry and moved on. And Ruben got me in, who's the owner of Sportsgrad. He got me in as it would be a bit of a different story. I'm not currently in sport, but I've been there and I'm doing my own thing. So it's sort of a different angle for him. But my point to this, I was fortunate enough to talk to, I think, 20... I think it actually was 20 plus people at one stage, which is cool. You think about sitting 20 people in a room. That's
cool.
no
It's
small
great.
feat.
Same thing with content, by the way. If you're looking at your podcast or your show or whatever, and you're
Yeah.
like, God damn it only has 13 views. But you're like, if
13.
I'm in a small room with
Yeah.
13 people that are engaged, I'm happy.
It's
Anyway.
such a good point. Anyway, so I was talking to them and I took a few key themes from this because a lot of the discussion was around my time at the Carlton Football Club.
Yep.
And a lot of the other discussion was, it made me think of the mindset of creatives. And that's what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
The mindset of you and I, the mindset of a lot of other people that are in the creative business. And I'm going to separate it into two parts, Darren. I'm going to separate what we're good at and what we're bad at.
Like it.
Because one overall theme, we'll start with what we're bad at. I think as creatives, let me know what you think of this, but I think we're all in search of magical answers.
Yep.
What I mean by that is, so this got me thinking, I got my role at Carlton Football Club. It was a very abnormal way to get it because when I went for the interview, I didn't know how to properly operate a camera.
I still find that hilarious.
Yeah, it's funny,
Like,
and people
In
are
a great way that they, the one they
Yeah.
trusted you and one you put yourself in that
Exactly.
position.
And people hear that and they're like, well, how did this guy... It just doesn't make sense. His role is to produce videos, but he doesn't know how to film videos.
I'm with them.
And this is my point. They think there must be some magical way I did it. There isn't. I was just super transparent with my skill set. And luckily enough, it comes down to some of it comes down to luck. Like there's no magical answer, as I said. The people in the room that were interviewing me were... great, and they told me after the interview that they're big on hiring the person, not the skill set. So the point to this is we see a lot of things online, we compare to a lot of people, and as creatives and other people in general, we want a magical answer to something and it just does not exist. And I think it's actually a bad way to think about it because the second part to that is the magical answer also relates to finding shortcuts, where I think we're very obsessed and enticed by the possibility of having a shortcut to success.
Yeah. That's all. Like, it's the longevity thing that I alluded to earlier. You literally just want... you just want stuff straight away, and if you don't get it straight away, you're like, maybe it's not for me, or
Yeah.
I'm shit. I'm bad at what I do, or I'm changing my business, or I'm going back to square one.
Yeah, and like maybe you can add impatience to what we're bad at because we're not very patient. But it's almost like the hack culture, like the word hack. It's like hack to become a videographer full time, tips and tricks to do this. We're so like attracted to the hack.
It's so true.
And it's weird, right? Like why we just don't want to put in the work? Like
That's attracted to the hack is a great, like, you know how people
Yeah, I like
define
that.
our eras or like our generations?
attract to the hack.
It's not easiest to say, but it's
It's
a great.
not.
It's a great
Say
thing.
that 10 times.
You just want to. You want to. You want to like cheat to success
We do, and
or skip steps.
Yeah, and they don't often exist, and I guess that's my overarching point. Because to my example, people think there's some magical answer to how I got the job. There's not. There's no magical answer. I was lucky. I was transparent. Be authentic.
It reminds me of like if you want the answers to something, it's often the answer you think is the answer. It reminds me of like I'm not a gym person. You can probably tell, but people are just like, how do I get a better body
That's a
or
perfect
whatever?
example.
It's just
Fitness,
like it's what you think it is. It's showing up every day and just
Yeah.
doing the work. Like it's not a secret success. Surely you can do smarter things like eat right or whatever, or the type of gym activities.
we're
or
not
whatever.
that type.
But I'm just trying to say like you have to do what you probably think you have to do. Like,
Yeah.
there's not much secret. It's just do it consistently.
They already know the answer. But
Yeah.
again, why do a lot of people sign up to fitness programs and gyms? Because it's plugged like you'll lose in 10
30
days.
Yeah,
It's a
exactly.
shortcut.
Exactly. And I mean, we're human. If it works, it works, and it actually attracts us if that's the right method. But sometimes it's as simple as just
Yeah. But we're
doing it.
so we're bad at that.
Yeah,
Other
yeah.
things we're bad at that I had down. I think we've talked about a lot about comparison, but we're bad at feeling like we should do something because we see other people doing it. We spoke about it briefly before about seeing someone online saying this is how you find success, and you could drop everything you've done in your business and follow that one person because they've got a blue tick online and they look like they've got their shit
Literally.
together. But we're very bad at following one person's point of view with no proof.
I think so. And it's a tricky one because sometimes those things can actually be like life changing. But again, do it your way. Like see that blue tick, see what they're saying, think about it, see if it suits you, your lifestyle, even trial bits of it, and just see if it works for you. If it doesn't, don't think you're not a good person or you're not built for success. But just know that everyone is different in that way.
It is very hard though, as you said. Like you got to find what you resonate with. But how do you know? Because some are gurus. Some
Exactly,
I
yeah.
don't hate the word guru, but some are. They know what they're talking about.
They just have a point. They
Yeah.
have experience, but it's a great conversation of what we're bad at. But what are we good at?
What are we good at?
Let's
Let's
keep it
go to some positives. Well, I mean, what we're bad at can also be framed to like catch yourself out to turn it into a positive. So that's not designed to be like, oh, jeez, we are. Oh, jeez. Let's put some sad music in the background or something.
Mood killer.
What we're good at, failing fast. I love this one. I
Yeah.
think as creatives, and when I say creatives, it could also be like the entrepreneur type of the world that are doing their own thing. They're creatives, true. We're very good at failing fast. And what I mean by that is I think a lot of us, and again, I'm trying to relate this to you and I, because I think it's a skill me and you have, is you've got an idea. I've mocked you in the past about how many ideas you try and just
It's a good and bad thing, though.
Huh?
It's a good and bad thing.
It is a
though.
good thing, but that's what I'm saying. It's good. You try it, you fail fast in terms of figuring out if it does or doesn't work, and then either you drop it and leave it. Even if you have dropped it and left it, you've learned something from it. So I think me and you and other people, other creatives, are very good at trying new ideas and failing because it helps.
I think it's a great topic, the failing fast thing, because like we all get motivated by things, but you don't know unless you try. And if you fail, it's fine.
It's good.
It's honestly fine. What you're gonna? How much fun would it be that if you just decide to do anything in life and you're really good at it? Like sure, for the first few things it might be fun, but you're like, well, I'm kind of losing the satisfaction from it.
True. It's like your Amazon example, to be honest. Like you hear like individuals that are killing it in a certain thing they're doing, but guaranteed they could tell you 5 to 6 things they've tried before where they've failed.
Same with anyone. Same with us.
Yeah.
You've failed. What have you? No, let's jump into failures one time.
Remember Platform, my basketball.
I look back at I actually forgot about that, but there's many examples that you look back on, and I guarantee you'll look back on it, even if it was a failure, like it didn't go anywhere. Guaranteed you'll look back on it and be like, you know what, that was cool. I'm glad I did that.
Yeah, no,
I do it with all my projects that I've stopped.
That's what I mean. Like, there's so many Instagram pages that you could find of both you and I. I think you more so, but it's stuff that you've tried.
Yeah, and you like, I will respect you a ton more for trying that and failing it than. Don't be that person. And I feel like us as humans, especially guys, we probably do it a lot. I don't know. You kind of like, if people are doing something that's a bit different or something you wouldn't do, we're very judgmental.
Yeah.
We're very like,
Bit of tall
see
poppy.
that?
It's a tall poppy.
Yeah, you see that person, and then I don't know whether it's just me getting older. When someone does that now, I'm always just like grow up. Like, can we be mature a bit? Can we reward that person for? And I know it's just fun, whatever. But I feel like I'm getting old and grumpy sometimes with like people that are like. judgmental just because someone's doing something that you are not doing.
Yeah. No, I think it's perspective. Like, I think as 31-year-olds, where you've got more perspective on these type of things, and I wish we all had that at 21, 22, but that's just not the way it works. But no, I totally agree with what you're saying. Respect to anybody that gives something a go.
What else are we good at? Failing fast, is that all you had?
Thriving in chaos.
You had it at the tip of your tongue.
I was thriving in chaos.
Nice.
The messiness to particularly sport in terms of things not going to plan. If you can't adapt and run with stuff and also be calm in those situations, I think a lot of us are good at just remaining cool, calm, and collected to a degree when things aren't going to plan. I think we're very good at thriving in chaos. I know a few of my friends, shout out Strange and people who I've worked with in the past, if they could have one word that they'd want their work environment to be, I'd borderline say it's chaos, which doesn't sound healthy, but that's where they thrive.
He goes for it.
He loves it.
But I just, like, having met Strange, he's got a funny guy, but I can imagine, like, there's like a really controlled environment. He's just sitting there like bored and not challenged.
And that might be the sporting background. But thriving in chaos is one. Curiosity is a massive word that I talked about in my sports grad presentation. I guess we can call it quite a bit.
Just asking questions, just trialing new things. Is that what you mean?
I think we're very good at. I mean, that's how we both sort of got to where we are in a way. You're curious about things. You ask questions. You started off as a graphic designer, but now you're producing shows. You're whatever, mainly video. You're filming. I mean, again, using our stories, and we never filmed. We were video editors. You were a graphic designer. Now we're videographers and video producers.
It's a great point. And then why do you get there? Because you see something you like
curious.
And you're like, hey, maybe I could do that, or what would that look like?
And a lot of other people, particularly like meeting young creatives, they've got the same trait. And it's a really very good trait. A very good trait.
No, I got what you're saying.
Last one. We're getting better at this in Australia because I wanted to sort of compliment the people that are on the sports grade call. We're getting better at pumping each other up.
Are we? Nah, I suppose we are. Maybe.
Well, yeah, no, it's a good pause you had there, Darren, because there certainly are people that aren't, but you've got to give kudos to people that are. And there are some people on that call that even if it was someone asking a question and someone else sort of chiming in saying, like, giving them confidence in something, there are a lot of people out there that are very good at it. So I just want to acknowledge that. And there's always room for improvement, so do more of it.
There is. It's just a funny, like, I think you're 100% right. Like what I was saying before, people are judgmental. People are kind of like, hey, that's funny that they're doing this. This isn't hard, or whatever it is. But then the people that actually do toot your horn and actually, it could literally just be a message saying, hey, I like what you're doing. It's cool.
Yeah.
Like, that's enough sometimes to fill you with confidence to keep going. And the people, especially on a live call situation like yours, that are willing to, you might not have said a word up until that point, but if you're willing to sort of like,
even in the chat.
Yeah, in the chat, just literally say like, and the more specific, the better sometimes, because then you feel like they're really listening, they're really dialed in, they're really like, they have belief in you. I think you got to give love to the people that actually give love to others.
I agree.
It's a skill, because I think it's very easy to just be negative, and it reminds me of like when you like you send content to someone and to a client or something, and all you get back is like,
changes.
Changes, and sometimes just be like, thanks, this is like, I appreciate the effort here.
Yeah, a hot tip for that, and something I've learned is, even if you've got some feedback on something, start with a positive. Start with, I love this, I love the way it's looking. Yeah. Even if you're slightly exaggerating a little, the confidence the person will get from that, starting on a positive than a negative, is...
Even if it's not, just say thank you.
Yeah, true.
Like, I don't know, I feel like sometimes it's such a small detail to miss, but people don't do it. It's just like, leave them on blank.
Yeah.
Just nothing.
But to the point of what we're good at and getting better at pumping each other up, you sort of half scoffed that Australia isn't that good. But think about like a basketball community at a local, let's say Summer Jam. What creatives are good what creatives are good at in the basketball world specifically, more like the street ball space, I guess you want to call it, like more in the arty sort of type, is everybody with a camera sort of gets around each other because they've got a connection point, and they are good at celebrating each other. Probably some more than others in terms of specific niches, but that basketball, street ball community type vibe is very good. Yeah.
No, that's a great point. The community feel to some of these projects and some of these brands. No, you're spot on. Some people are very good at it, but be better as well.
Yeah. So I hope that helped with the mindset of creatives, what we're good at and what we're bad at. If you have any thoughts or things to add, I'd love to hear them, because I think it's a great, even I brought it to the table, just a point of discussion to think about.
Good bads. Literally just drop on some stuff in the
Yeah.
email. It'd be fun to read out and
What are you good
discuss
at?
a bit.
What are you bad at?
Yeah, it's like a reflection period.
Yeah.
A reflection exercise.
You want to
can
start
do.
giving out homework?
Like psychologist work. Oh, you can. Maybe it's a good point to just have those moments to yourself.
True.
But the last thing you wanted to touch on, well, I'm gonna make you touch on it. I don't know if you still wanted to, but WMBL Media Content Day, like
Yeah, I mean
talk us through
nothing.
that quickly.
Yeah, no, nothing really to take out in terms of themes. We love to do themes on this show, but WMBL season starts next week. Always comes around very quickly, but had a bit of a shoot day on Tuesday where we captured all the teams cycling through the station of interviews, little activities and filming sessions, and just another one to appreciate the sort of clients, ideal clients that we're working with. And you even said to me when, I don't think I told you about this one because apologies.
He just said he rocked up. And I was
It's hard
"Oh."
to keep you. It's hard to keep you up to date with everything I'm doing. Trust me.
Oh, absolutely.
But Darren asked how my day was or whatever, and I just told him where he was and where I was, and he just said, "God, it's bloody cool the type of things you get to do." And it's great perspective. So WNBL season next week, and
There you go.
a good content day.
Who are you looking forward to seeing? You know who I'm looking forward to? No,
Who?
this is not a basketball
Geelong.
thing. Haley Jones, who WNBA high draft pick from a few seasons ago. Anyway, keen to see her.
Geelong, I am.
You were associated with Geelong. What? Is that their
No,
slogan or something?
No, because they're a new team. Anyway,
Geelong, I am.
They're a new WNBL team.
No,
Interesting.
that's actually
and a good
exciting.
roster.
Very good, Michael. That's been great. What's your favorite part of?
I love it and hate it when you throw it to me because every time I listen back to an
Oh.
episode, I'm always like,
No, I think it's like we have a lovely run sheet here. But favorite thing you're looking forward to next week? Do you have anything? Is there a call?
Oh.
Is there a? Oh, you got something?
No. I thought you were saying what's your favorite takeaway from this episode?
No,
because
I
you're good at
switched
that
it up.
usually.
No, I switched it up. We're looking
next
we're
week.
moving ahead.
Next week, just some editing deadlines. There's nothing out of office except for one more shoot with the AFL.
No, this was a highlight, not like there's something you're looking forward to, not what you've got on.
Or something I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I just want something you.
Oh, there's an AFLW player feature for the AFL Players Association on Friday. Gabby
Editing.
Seymour, Richmond, I believe.
You're editing, shooting. What are you
Shooting,
doing?
editing.
Everything. You can do it
Bar.
all.
We're going to a park with a dog. Some nice, wholesome.
B-roll.
Yeah, but I mean, we'll do an interview there. But one of those people, not the athletes, type of shoot.
And if you're walking, are you using a gimbal? Are you using?
Yeah, I'll talk you through it. So gimbal for overlay, gimbal for walking. But we'll find a nice spot in the park, set up a tripod, set up a interview spot. We'll get at the interview and switch back to the gimbal.
Maddie
for overlay.
Seymour, was it?
Gabby Seymour.
Jesus, shit. No, fair enough. Gabby
Close.
Seymour.
I do mumble.
No. Just testing my memory.
Highlight for next week for you, Darren. What are you looking forward to?
Oh, that's a great question. Wish I thought. No, what? What do I have on?
It's a good end. We had good energy.
No, I really want to think of something.
Do you want to play elevator music?
No, I actually want to. No, but so your week's probably more interesting. Oh, NBL land. Hang on. I'm looking forward to recording another episode with you.
He's padding here.
Um,
I'm looking forward to you moving on from 2x creative LUT 1. I want you to try.
I think baby,
you'll
get
like.
around it.
I think you like 8 and 9.
Why?
No, because they're some of my favorites. And from what I know of your style, a bit boring, but meh. Sometimes you'll like. No, I'm kidding. Try LUT 9. I put up a post yesterday of my Melbourne Marathon footage. Did you like that one with the color grades?
Yes, I do. I did.
All
actually.
LUT 9. LUT 9.
Yes, I saw that.
LUT.
I
No,
did. I'm just being that person.
LUT
that acts
9.
like they don't know anything.
LUT 9. I've said that about 5 times. Is probably my favorite so far from the pack.
Yeah, get around the LUTs. This is a good way to end it. Get around the LUTs. Tell us your favorite. Number 1 is my favorite so far
How do we get them?
on the website.
Yes, head to the website.
And also sign up to the newsletter because I think it's my week to write something great.
Yeah, you'll have some value packed content there for us. But Instagram bio also has the link to the LUTs, as well as our YouTube content, our TikTok content. There's links everywhere.
There's a lot going on. Before I leave, tell us if you can tell the difference between our voices. Anyway, take it
on audio version only. Hey, thanks for tuning in. That was episode 8. We are fast approaching double figures, which is always exciting. But
longevity
to the point of Darren's, I was going to say that to the
yeah.
point of your topic of conversation, we've got another 50, 60 in us until we're probably going to start. I'm serious. Until we're probably going to start. I guess totally figuring out what we're doing here because that's how long it takes sometimes.
I'm having fun regardless, Michael.
Exactly, and you've got to enjoy being shit. God, we just loop everything back to these topics and conversations. But no, we appreciate you tuning in, Darren. You've done well, and we'll see you in episode 9.
See you later, everyone. Everyone, goodbye.